Hey all, let me update the um we are live. All right, people. Hope you are all doing well on this wonderful Tuesday night. We haven't done one of these in a while, and this is going to be a fun one. And is going to be story time with creepy Uncle Malice. I've got lots to tell you. I just want to wait till we get 100 people in here, which should take a second or two, and then we will get going. And it's going to be a lot of fun, or else. This week on You're Welcome, we had Tom Woods. It was such a good episode. I'm so happy with it. I am. It's like, I know, like, a lot of time people on the internet spend a lot of time blowing smoke up each other's asses. I love having friends that I admire. And I just emailed him a second ago. I go, I don't think you appreciate how articulate you are. Because I was asking, like, I've not been on top of this, like, COVID drama that much. And I was just asking him all the questions. And, like, he just laid it out in such, like, a matter of fact, here's both sides, here's what's going on way. I was like, I just looking back, I was like, damn, he's so good at this. And do you know who else is really good at their job? I didn't think I was going to end up here, but I am ending up here. And that's Sheath Underwear. If you go to sheathunderwear.com and use promo code MALICE20, you get 20% off your order. And the thing about Sheath is they have a pouch. And that pouch is for dudes to keep your man parts nice and dry and separated. And I love wearing my Sheath underwear. And you can get my pants now. And look, if you wear the camo stuff, when your genitals are invisible, you can say, it's not my fault. It's the Sheath underwear that made my genitals invisible. It's your fault. So please do support them because they support me. Man, I'm really good at this. I'm a modern day Tom Woods. Okay, before we get into the caviar, let me show you the caviar, but then I have a little story to tell you, which is really, really fun. This happened today. So we have lobster. Oh, let's get these open. So hit that. Take a second, please, and hit the like button because that helps the YouTube algorithm. So this I didn't know was a thing. We have lobster roe. So that's pretty cool. We're going to be trying that. Lobster roe. It is a quick and easy recipe designed to make almost any meal more refined and sophisticated. Lobster roe butter. That sounds like it could be of good texture. Yeah. I can hear them screaming. So we have the lobster roe. And this is the one that was very, very expensive. This just came. So this is all Spite funded. It's getting harder and harder for me to find out things to waste money on. And I'm like, you know what? Caviar is really expensive. And this is a real waste of money. So I think this was like $400 of Spite funds, all just to spite cretins. And it's all going inside my body. So this one is really, this is something that they only figured out how to do like in the last, I think, 10 years, which is a snail caviar. Because snails lay very few eggs, and then they have to sort them one egg at a time. It's a whole thing. It's going to taste gross. Like, let's be honest. I know you get this all the time, but I feel it's very important. You, Dave Smith, Rogan, and Tom Woods changed my way of thinking. How do we get Tom on Jerry? By we, I mean you. Let's just do it. Let's do a side note. Like, why this question? Like, I get where you're going with this, but this is why this question annoys me. Because if I'm like trying to set up like one friend with another, like just on a date, would you think it would be advantageous to be talking about it publicly? Like I know, like I get it. I'm a fan of a lot of things. I'm a fan of Joe. I'm a fan of Tom. I'm a big fan of Tom. But I'm not gonna be like, hey, I just emailed Joe, waiting to hear back. That's very rude to Joe and to Tom. Gitmo Fund. Oh. We're going to get to that in a minute. Please share links to the ones that taste good. Sheathunderwear.com. But does the caviar fit your macros, though? Oh, this has been a situation because I just figured out the milk's been messing me up. And today, for the second day in a row, I've been trying to eat Subway to get my calories in. And it is not easy to eat like a U.S. American at all. I also like the idea. I really hate this. Like this really, I'm not trying to pick on you, Michael. I'm not, because this is not what you were doing, because you obviously were self-aware here. When people are like, this is the classic example. When they hear someone, I'm dating myself now. When they hear someone was a good singer, they go, you should be an American Idol. Like, it's like, you should get Tom on Joe Rogan. It's like, there's other shows that I can get him on that would also be really awesome. Don't you think? Like, it doesn't have to be Joe. Frankly, I don't know that Tom would do that great on Joe because it'd be a very weird, it's hard for me to imagine that dynamic, to be honest. It's very easy for me to imagine him talking to Ruben, Lex, Jimmy Dore, like lots of these other places. So that's my point there. What do you predict during a Biden presidency? LULZ. $5 bucks, so I don't have to try the caviar. You're missing out, pleb. You're missing out. So this is the Snail Caviar. This is from Long Island. That's pretty cool. That's close to me. I guess Brooklyn is technically part of Long Island in a geographical sense, but not in a political or sociological sense. And here are all the caviars. So there's this website. I've been pricing these, and this is the place where it's like store brand, but they're small, but you could get them all. So I'm gonna where are my scissors? My depression scissors. I'm gonna pop this open. Help me! We're fish abortions. Miscarriages. I guess miscarriages. So we have Trout roe. And we have Pike roe, short for Pickel roe. And we have Russian Ossetra amber. Okay, these are amber. Big phallus malice. That's why I wear sheathunderwear.com for support and comfort. White sturgeon. Why it gotta be white? Did I do the math wrong on how many I have? Maybe I did. Paddlefish, which is the American relative of the sturgeon, and they look nothing alike. Kaluga Black. And we have Siberian Sturgeon. And we have bowfin, which is also a very primitive fish. We have Hackleback, which is a type of sturgeon. We have golden whitefish. Whitefish is good. Smoked. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. Then we have Sevruga. And then we have Sterliet, which is, I think, the smallest sturgeon. Sterliet. And then we have Beluga Hybrid. No, I specifically said no race mixing in my house. Before we get to the caviar, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. When I was a kid, I had never had any appetite, ever. And this was a big issue with my family. This leads to my severe body dysmorphia, which I have to this day. The one thing I really are any of these species also good aquarium fish? No. The thing with not even close. Just got a dog, and she somehow managed to poop everywhere in the house, much like your people and most social institutions. Happy Kwanzaa. Okay. Good to know. So when I was a kid and I went to Jew school, yeshiva, I never had any appetite. The one thing I liked was caviar. So I'd be in school with caviar sandwiches on Wonder Bread, because nothing but class in that household. Oh, where's the monocle? You're right. I have my monocle. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, this is gonna be funny. Give me 30 seconds. My monocle. All right. So I've got a monocle, but it doesn't stay. Like, I don't know how to do it. So, like, do I hang it? Like, I don't know what to do. Then it looks weird. Like, I don't know how they did it. So I think I should just, like, tape it. So I'm going to do that. Thank you for the reminder, Kiwi. So we're going to tape the monocle to my face. And I'll look like, you know, when little kids get their eyes injured, they have to wear that thing. Good job on the Kumi. Oh, that was a lot of fun. I love Ant. All right. It's hard to keep your eye open with this thing. I'll just do it closed. I don't care. All right. I'm committing to the bit. Okay. So this looks funny. There we go. Now I look like a billionaire. This is going to get old really fast. How do I do this? Hold on. That doesn't make it better. How do they do this? I don't understand. Where'd it go? Hold on. Ashley is a child. Okay. How do I do it like this? Okay. That works. Now I just look like Sloth. This is going to be the next 45 minutes. And I love every second of it. Do I do this? Oh, wait. What if I just hangs? Oh, that's not much better. Yeah, okay. We can work with this. We can work with this. We can work with this. Okay. Oh, man, this is fucking up my vision. Something fierce. Okay, so when I was a kid, I never had any kind of appetite. Is this which is my good eye? I think this is this is my bad eye. It should be over this eye. I've got worse vision in one eye than the other. New York Times best-selling author, 160 IQ. Jesus Christ. This is what I've come down to. This is what I do for you people. Because I love you. Oh my God, this is so stupid. Ah! We're going to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to be a wasp if it kills me. All right. All right. Okay. This thing just fell off of me. Okay. So we'll do this. God damn it. Okay. Oh, there we go. That works. Okay. I just got to get rid of this chain. Okay. Yeah, this will do. Still sexy even with the tape monocle. M'lady. Okay, so when I was a kid, I have a light. That looks like I have a laser beam. Can you do oh God. Cut me some slack. I've got a monocle taped to my face. This is let's give it a moment. This light is really doing a number on me. It's just giving me I'm giving myself my Lasix. Okay, so should I tape it down? Is that better? I like it hanging. It makes it more look realistic. Serving Monopoly realness. Okay, so yeah, when I was a kid, and my dad said to me, if I finished my lunch that day, he would buy me one of those Mr. Men books by Roger Hargreaves. Mr. Strong, Mr. Tall, Mr. Tickle. Then there's like Little Miss Late, Little Miss Neat, and all them. And these books meant a lot to me as a kid. I kept them until I was an adult, or when I was a teenager at least. When my sister was born, my parents were like, oh, you kept all those books all those years. Give them to her. I did. And she tore them all up because she was a little kid, which bothered me a lot because I kept those mementos from my childhood. Although there was only one left, which was Little Miss Neat, I believe. Hello, Judas of Borg. You're supposed to get your monocle custom fit. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so those Mr. Men books were really, really cool. I have them all. I got them as an adult. I learned last week, this is something you do not know about because I've been on top of this Mr. Men game since the 80s. There was a one and only one Mr. Men book that was not written by Roger Hargreaves, that was officially licensed, that was extremely rare, if not almost unheard of, and it arrived today from England, and I'm going to read it with you guys. I'm halfway through The Idea of Decline by Arthur Herman, and was curious as to what you think of John Adams in general. John Adams is awful. The recent resuscitation of him is stupid. He is like John Major and George H.W. Bush, like this far secondary figure that follows a great figure. I think he's terrible. Like I really think he's a total loser and a miserable ass. Which that part I like, how he's a curmudgeon, like how his last words are like shaking his fist at Thomas Jefferson. That I like, but I think the attempt to try to make him out to be more than he is, I don't buy it, and I'm not interested enough to learn more. I don't find him an interesting figure. What are you eating under there? Caviar. It says it on the screen. What is going on? Okay, so this is something you have never seen before in your life, and you probably never will see again in your life. It's bigger than the others. Mr. Spendy. Probably haven't heard of it. And it was licensed by Huddersfield and Bradford Building Society. You notice it says Mr. Title, permission by Roger Hargreaves. It's written by Kathleen Smith. And it looks a little like Mr. Uppity, but Mr. Uppity had a monocle. Or Mr. Impossible had the same shape and had a little hat. So we're going to read this. This is a book that has been forgotten by history. It was illustrated by Susan Reed, not by Roger Hargreaves. And we're going to have a little story before we get to the caviar. Everyone liked Mr. Spendy. There's his picture. He was always happy and smiling, and he had lots of friends. As well as everyone liking Mr. Spendy, he liked everyone else, too. And whenever he had any spare money, he used to trot happily out to the shops and buy sweets, ice cream is hyphenated, chocolates, and lots of other things, which he liked. And then he shared them all with his friends, and they all had a lovely time. All right, he's a baller. Mr. Spendy lived in a very nice street in a very nice town, and next door to Mr. Spendy lived a gentleman called Mr. Thrifty. You know what that's a euphemism for. Mr. Thrifty was a very nice gentleman too, but not quite so popular as Mr. Spendy. Yeah, the Thrifties generally are not liked where they live, if you know what I'm saying. One sunny day in July, see, that's when they tell you. That's the little subtle hint. July. As Mr. Spendy was closing the gate of his garden to go along to the shops to buy himself a box of chocolates, he noticed a taxi was waiting outside Mr. Thrifty's gate, and Mr. Spendy was curious. He looked over the garden wall, and the line breaks are very weird. He looked over the garden wall, and very soon he saw Mr. Thrifty and his family all coming out of their house, each carrying a suitcase and looking very happy and excited. As a dad, I'm saying you'd make a great dad. I'd make a better mom. So that's him with the taxi looking for Mr. Thrifty. Have you read or liked any theology/theologians? Yeah, there's an amazing book called The Tree of Gnosis, which is long out of print, which breaks down the early Gnostic visions of Christianity. Just superb. Hello, said Mr. Spendy. Are you removing? Removing? Oh no, smiled Mr. Thrifty. We're going for 2 weeks holiday to Sandy Lands on Sea. Suddenly, Mr. Spendy felt sad. He started to think how lovely it would be if he could go and spend a fortnight by the sea, but of course he couldn't afford to do that. He watched longingly as Mrs. Thrifty and their daughters, Penny and Prudence, put their luggage into the boot of the taxi and then climbed it into the back seat, laughing and shouting bye-bye to Mr. Spendy. They're all green. Hey, Michael, love your content. I need some help taking down these woke man-hating feminists that are destroying your country, our country. Well, good luck with that. My dad said he likes the establishment because they provide predictability. I think that's been proven to be false. Any thoughts? He's right. The average man does not want to be free. He simply wants to be safe. So there is a lot of, you know what a Biden presidency is going to look like. Would you go on Shapiro's Sunday special if invited? Of course. And I know what I'd wear. The very failed comic Dave Smith is saying he's going to take over the LP in the next few years. Thoughts? Well, he's always been power mad. I would do whatever I could to make that happen. I adore him. And recording with him tomorrow, his show. As Mr. Thrifty closed his garden gate, he turned to Mr. Spendy and said, why are you so sad today? This monocle's growing on me. Mr. Spendy said with a sigh, I was just thinking about how nice it must be at Sandy Lands on Sea and how much I would like to go to, but I haven't any money. Mr. Thrifty turned slowly and said quietly, if you weren't such a silly Mr. Spendy, you would be able to go. And then he jumped into the taxi and they drove away. Here they are. Notice his nose. Mr. Spendy was quite amazed. God, are we done with this? Is long. Should I finish reading this? It's just a commercial to save money in banks. I appreciate you. Hello, girl. I appreciate you. Where'd it go? Should I finish this? I'm going to finish it. I'll read half and then we're going to get to the caviar. Let's do that, okay? Where's the halfway mark? God, this is so long. Mr. Spendy is quite amazed. No one likes to be called silly. What about Mr. Silly, stupid? And Mr. Spendy was particularly hurt because his best friend, Mr. Thrifty, had said he was silly. He stayed by the garden gate and became more and more unhappy as he thought of what Mr. Thrifty had said. Presently, instead of going to buy the box of chocolates, he put his money in his pocket and went to the park nearby and sat on a seat and thought. But he just couldn't think why he was silly. So he thought the best plan would be to wait until Mr. Thrifty returned from the seaside, then he would ask him. And he did just that. Is burning the only solution for communists? No. You know about the helicopter solution. Come on. Come on. 2 weeks there. So he's sitting on the park bench. That weird bird. Here he is by his window. Not too happy. 2 weeks later, Mr. Spendy sat by his front room window and waited for the taxi to arrive, bringing Mr. Thrifty and his family back home. It seemed an awfully long time to wait, but just when Mr. Spendy decided he would leave his window and prepare himself some tea, the taxi arrived and out tumbled the children, looking all sunburned and happy. Mr. Spendy opened his front door and called to Mr. Thrifty, I would like to ask you an important question. All right, said Mr. Thrifty, I'll come in to see you as soon as I put down my luggage in the hall. This didn't need to be a whole page. Did you ever watch the Mr. Men show they released in the late 90s? I did not. Have some loonies. Ugh, you Canadians will be the death of me. Just the death of me. Will you be spending your night to remember on the promenade or in your cabin as the ship sinks? What? Oh. I'm just going to take a lady's skin, wear it as my own, and get in one of those lifeboats. You can't sink me. That's what the monocle's for, to be smart. When here they are sitting on their couch. I like the couch colors. That's pretty cool. When Mr. Thrifty arrived, do you know, Mr. Spendy forgot to show his usual good manners and asked Mr. Thrifty if he had had a nice holiday. He was so concerned about finding out why Mr. Thrifty thought he was silly. So very patiently, Mr. Thrifty said, "Do sit down, my dear Mr. Spendy, and listen very carefully what I have to say." So Mr. Spendy sat down, and suddenly he remembered his good manners and invited Mr. Thrifty to have a cup of tea. When this was prepared and they were sitting comfortably, Mr. Thrifty said, "I can guess why you want to see me." And he smiled. "I guess you've been wondering why I called you silly, Mr. Spendy, haven't you?" There's the picture. "I certainly have," replied Mr. Spendy, "and I can tell you I've been worried a great deal about it whilst you've been away." "Yes, I'm sure you have," said Mr. Thrifty, "but you know I did mean to be kind to you, really." Mr. Spendy looked puzzled. He wondered how anyone could be kind and call you silly at the same time. Okay, we're aborting this right now, and we're getting to the caviar. Okay, so let's see how many I actually have if I want to get the number right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 15, not 16. Okay, so what order should we do this? Just randomly? Mr. Spendy doesn't appear to have a job. No, he's on relief. Thoughts on C.S. Lewis as historical figure in fiction? I adore the Narnia books. I started reading the Space Trilogy. I couldn't get through it. I think his view of man is really something I'm violently opposed to and really despise. And I think he's a very malevolent figure in that regard. Okay, we're going to do random number generator. So I got 1, 2. Yeah, we'll do that. And I'll tell you guys about each one I'm eating as I try it. Oh, and by the way, I didn't have Wonder Bread because I thought that'd be too tacky. But instead I have the food of my people. We have Manischewitz matzah. We're going to eat on matzah. Please change the title to 15. I can't while it's going. Are you eating the caviar straight up or with the blinsters? No, we got the matzah. Lobster first for Zoidberg. That's pretty funny. Been dealing with an inordinate amount of anger regarding the COVID lockdowns. Your reading of Mr. Spendy while wearing a monocle actually helped me. Good. This is why I do it. I think it's very important that we still figure out ways to have fun and to have some kind of interactivity. Like, I'm dead serious. Okay, so we're going to do a random number generator. It's been half an hour of this garbage already. Oh, they're not even wrapped in any. Oh, they are. Never mind. Here's the matzah. I'm ready for Ben Shapiro, baby. The pig mask would accentuate this outfit nicely. I don't think that's. I guess if I'm kind of a burn the rich kind of person. Death penalty for governors, mayors who break their own lockdown restrictions. Oh, yeah, I think it's a good idea to be discussing murdering politicians on a YouTube stream. What's the story behind the You're Welcome intro music? Oh, it's easy. It's my buddy John Gerges, who did the book cover for Dear Reader. I loved that song, and I loved that little sequence of it. So I asked him if I could use it, because they wouldn't let me use the old theme song on YouTube because of copyright. He might be the most talented person I know. Did you vomit after eating the Cadbury cream eggs? No, and I didn't have diarrhea either, and it didn't make me not eat them in the future. This is what butlers are for, to bite your matzah bag open. Box is open. All right. So we have a matzah. It's like back in the mignon days. Okay. Oh, and I have a Coke spoon. I'm 99% sure Jessica Cutler got me this when we were pals. Jessica was the Washingtonian. She was one of the first internet blog stars who broke out. We were very good pals for quite a bit of time. She really made my life a lot better as a friend. We lost touch, but I maybe someone got in a fight. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, she really helped me through some dark times. Currently in quarantine due to testing positive. Thanks for giving me something to do. Well, the next time you're getting plowed, use a condom. Okay. I don't know how big these pieces should be. Okay, we'll just do this. Whatever. We'll try this one. Okay, we're going to do 1 through 15. And we're going to do the random number generator. This desk is a mess. What is the worst example of corporate press depravity? I think that might be the one, the Warren Durante, when they are hiding a genocide and attacking people who are unhiding it. That's got it. I mean, listen, when you're getting into the point where you're covering up for millions of people who are being starved, they didn't deny the Holocaust, you know what I mean? So, and they didn't pretend it wasn't happening. So this is, I can't think of what could be worse than that, to be honest. Do you actually watch mukbangers? I do not. I do not. Okay, so we're going to do a number from 1 to 15. More like random. 1 through 15. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is going to be Beluga Hybrid. Okay, so let's go to the website and figure out how much this one cost and read about it. So this thing was $88.50. So I guess we're starting with the expensive one. It's a cross between two. This is the other thing people don't realize with like, I'm a zoology person. People who have a high school midwit understanding of biology think like, oh, if two species cross, the offspring are sterile. Not only is that not true, a lot of times species across genera can reproduce, and that's a good example. This is a hybrid of 2 sturgeon from 2 different genera. One is Huso, and the other is Accipenser is the genera for that one, for the genus for that one, excuse me. So due to the lack of availability of beluga and the complexity of farming it, many producers began crossbreeding with other faster producing sturgeon species. So this is from Italy, brownish gray colored, the bold nuttiness of beluga with a hint of earthy tones, excellent served alone, or lingering buttery finish. Okay, so this is $89. Michael, I understand, dude. I know. I wanted to get an ivory one. Like I have ivory chopsticks, like real, but I like it was either this or plastic, so I didn't know what to do. And I think this has the visual. How often do fans run into you and try to do a stop and chat and get a photo? What's your typical reaction to something like that? It happens increasingly often, and I gotta tell you, I'm shocked that everyone is normal. They're like, oh, it's not weird. They're not socially awkward. They're very friendly. They have good questions. It's because you would think just even people on the street, like the odds are just anarchists, how many are going to be a mess? I'm very flattered and delighted. I shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, that's the truth. Caviar 16 was controlled demolition. #fact. Did you enjoy Mr. Jones? My friend Andrea Chalupa wrote it. She's the one who introduced me to Yeonmi Park. I did not watch it though. I'm very familiar with it. The Monopoly Man, his name is Uncle Moneybags. Having a monocle is one of the Mandela effect examples. He didn't have a monocle, and I swear I remember Sinbad being a genie. They included the nut in the caviar. Skeet, skeet. Thank you, Mike M. That's not me, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to, if I'm on matzah, we're going to do the, okay. This $88.50 for this, $90. Thanks to all the cretins for funding this. Oh, expiration date doesn't say. What are your thoughts on World Trade Center Building 7 and the 9/11 official story in general? I kind of buy it. Sorry, guys. The one thing that people have asked me, like, what if gun to head? I've answered this before. What is the one conspiracy theory that I would believe if you forced me to choose one? And I would choose that United 93 was shot down, and that they made up this whole story. Now I know that that's not true, but like, if they had to, they did the right thing. You can understand why they would do it, and you can understand why they'd make up this whole lovely feel-good story after. How much of you to buy read A Pickle for the Knowing Ones? I don't know what that is. It sounds, I don't have time for that now. To be reading more books. I got it. Let's look it up. Let's be fair. Okay. So you paid for the question. Let's answer you. What is this? 1802. How long is this nightmare? Is it excruciatingly long? Oh, it's 42 pages. I do it for like $200. That's easy. That's easy. What's your take on accelerationism from an anarchist perspective? Favorite anarcho-punk band? I don't know what anarcho-punk is per se, if it's a genre that I'm not aware of. I'm an old school punk person, you know, like X-Ray Specs. Accelerationism. I am a big tent guy in the sense of let's try different things and look at the data. Here's a great example. Term limits. Seems plausible. If you force turnover, maybe people won't be as corrupt and depraved. Well, now we have de Blasio. So made sense to try it. Didn't work out. Okay. Ooh. Oh, man. This takes me back. I'm so blessed. Like, I get to do this like for a living because people are assholes to me on Twitter and other people want to spite those assholes. So let me look. These are very large eggs, which you can see. That camera. Thank you very much, Randy, for the new camera. This is... Now we're going to take some. I apologize to the chef for using the spoon. I know this is like a knife in the heart. I'm sorry, dude. They're so firm. It's not like gooey at all. It's really like peas. I mean, like pearls, you know, little pearls, tiny little pearls. Okay, so we have that. Okay, we're gonna try it. Oh man, this is very nice. You know how, like, if you go to a good restaurant, you don't realize how good food could be until you eat there. You're like, oh, wow, they can do this. They always talk. I have a very bad palate because I'm trash. Whenever people talk about like complex flavors, it always sounds like wanking yourself off. This really has a lot of complexity to the flavor. It's really good. Like really, really good. I have to use less matzah and more caviar. Man, this is nice. Oh man. I don't know that this is worth $88.50, but it's certainly worth it's special. This is special. I'm pleasantly surprised. This is not what I ate as a kid. This is much more refined. This is good stuff. Okay, let's do the next one. Beluga Hybrid sounds like a wheat strain. How many books have you read or on your future list? I have 30. Go to my goodreads.com and you can see the next 30 I have queued up. Okay, we're going to do another number from 1 to 14. Butler Fund. Milady. Oh, my camera got blurry. Let's unblur it. Speaking of pearls, would you do a boba testing for your West? I hate that crap. I tried it once. It feels like you're going to choke. I don't know how to do it. Okay. Let's do another random number from 1 to 14. Okay, we got 3. So 1, 2, 3. This is Siberian Sturgeon. Let's read about it. So this one is $35.91. It's odd that that's the price. So this is farmed imported. Siberian Sturgeon is black caviar from the farm sturgeon, nearly identical to Ossetra caviar, medium-sized grains, nutty flavor with a C note. It's like semen. Okay, so let's look at this. Guys, thank you. I gotta tell you, thank you so much for making this happen, because this is really kind of bringing back some very fond memories. You know what I mean? Like food can do that, and it's like, wow, this is just taking me back to when I was really young. Let's gonna cut this. So this is the Siberian Sturgeon farm raised. Ooh. See, this is much. You know what? Like a lot of this, like I thought was gonna be bullshit, that they're all basically the same, and they're really not. And I'll show you an example. So this is the Siberian run, right? You can see that. And I'm going to compare it to the Beluga Hybrid, and you can see they look very different. So the Beluga is going to be on the left, L for Beluga, and this is Siberian, R for right, Siberian. And you can see this is the Beluga. They look more similar on the camera than they are in real life. In real life, you could see a much bigger difference. I'm sorry. It's mostly the color. And this is, you see how this one is a little bit wetter. Okay. How do I do this? Okay. So we're going to try this one next. This is the, let me get the caps right. Okay, so now we're doing the Siberian one. Yeah, this is much like wetter, if that's the correct. I'm sure there's a technical term for it. Okay. Very different. This is much saltier. The flavor profile is much flatter. The flavor is not strong. Caviar is known for having a strong flavor. This is very mild flavor. And it's like, it's the kind of thing how if someone's like, oh, caviar is so gross, and they tried this, they'd be like, oh, like a California roll, they're like, oh, yeah, this is, it's like neither here nor there. Very interesting, or marginally interesting. Oh, some butter would be good with this stuff. Okay, so that's that one. Will you take the COVID vaccine? Probably not. What's your go-to when you want to eat like garbage? I eat shitty food every day, but ice cream I love. Cadbury cream eggs, I think, would probably be my two big ones. Okay, next 1 through 13. 1 through 13. It did 3 again. So 1, 2. Kaluga. Excuse me, Kaluga. Okay, so Kaluga Black. Is that this? Okay, I got the cheapest Kaluga. Okay, so this is Kaluga. Could you please pass the Paulana all fruit? That's really funny. We were just talking about that for some show. I don't remember what it was. Do you believe there was any voter fraud in the election? Yes, but not significant amounts. And I don't know how, since every election is run by the state, I don't see how they would have been able to coordinate it across states without anyone knowing. Like, that doesn't add up to me. And I think all elections, of course, are illegitimate. Okay, so this is the Kaluga Black. So this is hybrid between Huso doricus and Acipenser shranky sturgeons. Large and glossy grains. The flavor is a blissful marriage, creamy, buttery, nutty, with a famous burst of the sea. Sublime, they said. How bizarre. How do you expect anyone not to be black-pilled after the Tim Pool, Alex Jones podcast? I don't care. If you're black-pilled, be black-pilled. I don't think everyone is white-pillable. Come on, functional strength. Ah, there we go. Oh, so this is the lightest color so far. This is the Kaluga Black, but ironically, it's gray. So you can see. So let me compare that to the Beluga, which is the most expensive one, the Beluga Hybrid. So you can see the Beluga Hybrid is dark. Let it focus. And this is much lighter. Is that interesting? It's not. So we're going to try this one. And again, this was $30. This one. Okay, so far we only tried sturgeon. We haven't gotten to the other fish. Okay. Gonna get a nice heaping. Any comment on less systems leading to less abuse? I don't know what you mean by, do you mean fewer? I'm not trying to be pedantic, but I'm not familiar with the expression less systems. And I don't know what you mean about, if you mean fewer systems leading to less abuse. I don't, if you mean like if there's less rules, there'll be less abuse of the rules. I mean, that's tautological. I think it's just more option. The freedom to exit is what's going to lessen abuse because that makes it competitive. I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question well. I'm not sure I'm following what you're saying. Okay, so we are doing the Kaluga Black. Let's get a nice scoop going. Oh man, this is so fun. This tastes more like what I had as a kid. It's salty, a little bit fishy, mild, not a strong flavor, good texture. This takes me back. Oh man, this takes me back. You know what they called me as a kid? My family, Buchenwald. They called me Buchenwald as a kid. We got a question from Ashley. What is a white pill? It's the next book. What has a white pill person learned that others haven't? That the good guys might win. Okay, what are we down to? We need 12 more. Is there any good reason to how the news has always been fake? No, but I have to write that book at some point. 1 to 12. Let's do number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hackleback. Hackleback, in my understanding, is a type of sturgeon. Yeah. So this is only... the label changed. So this is only $16. It's a true sturgeon. The fish, the reason why this is cheap is that after 4 years, they become adults, so they'll have eggs. So the grains are quite small, but have a soft cover that is nevertheless protected due to manual processing. Okay. So let's see that. Do you see the GOP Dems as a uni-party with only superficial differences, or as two rival gangs competing for power? Yeah, that's from my book. It's rival gangs. Come on, dude. Come on, read the new right. This is addressed at length. Have you addressed the fact that often blue pills can often taste like white pills to the users? I don't think so. I don't think blue-pilled people are happy on a fundamental level. They are content, but they have very little aspirations. As a rule. Okay. So Hackleback. So apparently these are going to have the smaller grains. I didn't know grain was the word. Oh, these are much smaller. Wow. That's because, yeah, it's mature at age 4. So look at this. And then let's look at that beluga again. Next to it. So this is like night and day. Here's the beluga, and here's the hackleback. Isn't it? Oh, oh no! More gasping. Okay, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll all go eaten. I'm not letting this go to waste. This is beluga, baby. Oh man, it's so good. It is so good. Yep, this is my life now. This is your life. You're watching me do this. The good thing is fish eggs are sticky because they're meant to attach to the substrate. Okay, wait, I missed a couple of questions. How do I convince skinny girls to have procreate with me? I do not like the big ones. Become more high status and in better shape. Secession seems like conceding to me. Okay, I disagree. Press now running stories about psychic messages from Biden's dogs. How will they justify not being adversarial to the government? Or will they not bother explaining? Why would the dogs be adversarial to the government? I'm sorry. I'm missing something. I'm high in caviar. Okay, Hey, Zach. Hi to mom and dad. Okay, let's have some of this Hackleback. I'm bringing Hackleback. Okay, this looks cheaper because this looks like lumpfish caviar, which is what you get at the store, which is dyed black, which is very crunchy, not good. It's like $5 for the whole thing. I don't know who buys it. It's just trashy. Although lumpfish themselves look really cool. Okay, so this is the Hackleback. This is bad. It's very salty, fishy. It tastes cheap, for lack of a better word. It doesn't taste sophisticated or refined. It's just like, I know I'm using weird words in reference to caviar, but like after having that and this, you can, it's like the difference between like wine and beer. It's just like, they don't really have that many similarities. It's very, very different. So would not recommend. I'm not saying, oh, you have to get beluga, but like something that is twice as much as this, that was $30, is going to be far more than twice as good in taste and experience, is all I'm saying. Okay. 9, 11. We have 11. Okay, let's do this. Number 2. Paddlefish. Okay, paddlefish are a very interesting species. They are the largest, I believe, freshwater fish. They're filter feeders. They cruise up and down the Mississippi. Their paddle gets longer and longer as they get older. They're sturgeon relatives. They look nothing like sturgeon. They didn't think this was possible. They're not in the same family. Crossbred by themselves. And the fish, it's interesting because sturgeon eat food. Paddlefish filter feeders. They just eat plankton. The offspring were all food eaters, but they had a very long bill. And now they're like in real danger because they were used as an alternative to the sturgeon. So this I'm interested to try. So this is from USA. And the Chinese paddlefish, which was also like the second largest freshwater fish, has been now declared extinct. The Chinese killed it. It's very sad. I think it's from pollution in the rivers. You should have Alex Jones out for the next mukbang. I disagree. What are you going to do with all the leftovers from this? Eat them. Every single pearl. Being an alumni, what are your thoughts on changes to admissions process to improve diversity? When I was a Stuyvesant student, one of the things that they boasted about was like there were like either 60 or 80 languages spoken at that school. So to claim that like Asian is all one thing, to claim that white was all one thing and the black, it's an obscenity. And this is what happens when your mayor's a literal communist. I sincerely hope you continue to have a positive and happy life. I'm glad you can do this and reminisce about your childhood. I am very, very blessed and fortunate. I'm not going to lie. And I just, guys, something really fun's happening in 9 days. I can't even tell you. All rights being property rights, how do you view airspace as a function of property? That's a very complicated, sophisticated, technical question that I'm not in a position to talk about. I don't think there's an easy answer there. Which of these are wild, which are farmed? I'm explaining it as I'm going along, but it's a great question. I think most of them are farmed. White pill. Yeah, I saw that. Good work, Denny. Good picture. You look happy. Favorite city for seafood other than New York? I'm not a seafood person. I'm not a foodie. I hate that term, and I'm not knowledgeable. So I don't have a good answer for you at all. I'm very, very sorry. But it's something I do want to explore more. Okay, especially now that, you know, I can make it a content. So this is the paddlefish. All right. I meant, how will the media justify doing fluff pieces? Oh, they don't have to justify anything because the media is the justification for things. So if the media tells you this is fun, blue pill people who perceive reality as what the media constructs will agree. The whole point of being blue pilled is not to think outside the matrix and to have no critical thought. Okay. These are very small eggs. Not as small as the Hackleback, but smaller than the Beluga significantly. What is one moment? That's a great question. You could boil your life down to. Maybe releasing Dear Reader, because that has a lot of Venn diagram aspects to it. I think that would be as good as I can get. Just realized your traps and shoulder caps look great. Nice work. I perceive this as when people tell the fat girl at the prom that she looks nice. And I appreciate the compliment on an intellectual level. I cannot handle it on an emotional level. Okay. Save me some. It's not going to last, girl. This is all going inside my body. Through every orifice. Okay, so this should, I wonder how close it's going to taste to sturgeon. I'm very curious to see. So this is much stickier and gooier than the sturgeon, especially the beluga. This is by far the worst. Very metallic. You know how if something's using preservatives, I don't know if that's what it is or it's because of the taste of the fish. This is barely edible. It's just bitter and tastes like chemicals. This is very bad. I'm surprised how bad this is. And this is not at all a viable alternative to sturgeon, and they should be ashamed of themselves. I'm legit mad. The thing is, I don't think this stuff keeps. I think I have to eat it in like the next week. Okay. And I have to, I mean, choose to. We have 10 left. Oh, I'm angry about the paddlefish, especially with that there's so few of them. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pike. Pike roe. This is a new species for terms of roe as they run out of other species. The paddlefish, let me give you the price. I'm sorry. So the paddlefish was, this was $13.50. Yeah, I can see why. This is pike. Pike is like an elongate predator fish. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. This is $8.27. It's considered a merchant caviar, which honored guests were treated to during the reign of the first Russian Tsar. Despite the fact that delicacy is cheaper than red or black caviar, it is in no way inferior to its more valuable counterparts in nutritious properties. You know, when they start talking about how nutritious it is, it's telling me this isn't going to taste good. It's probably metallic because it's farmed. I don't think that's what it is. Because the others are farmed and they did not have any of that. Trump is the only president in American history to lose election while his party gained seats. Not proof, but definitely odd in my opinion. I agree. And they didn't flip any state legislatures, not one. That's just on its own is a bizarre situation statistically. I've never eaten caviar. Now I'm inspired to spend some money after Christmas and try some. There's so many foods like durian. Like, try it once. Have a friend, and this is a memory you're creating. It's just such a fun, easy way to create a story. And, you know, like, hey, remember that time we got durian instead of just going to bars and movie? It's really a nice way to share experiences with people. Okay, pike roe. God, I'm dreading this. Okay, they're interesting. They're very yellow. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Pike for Mike. Try this. Tasteless. I don't taste anything. I taste more of the matzah, and matzah obviously does not have a strong flavor. Tasteless. This is trash. Trash. Okay. 9 more to go. 5. Bowfin. Bowfin is another very primitive fish. It's like a living dinosaur, in a sense. This is $8. You could look up what bowfin look like. They look pretty cool. All it says is the eggs can be brownish to jet black and have a mildly tangy flavor. Excuse me. Man, these caviar burps. 16 caviar test or sheath underwear stress test. These underwear are not under any stress, I assure you. Like a thimble. How does caviar compare to female genitalia? I have never tried that. You could just get caviar easily. Do you believe there's a certain percentage of American populace that has to be pink-pilled in order to create lasting positive change? Yes, but that number is extremely small, like under 1%. When did the progressives reverse their stance on racism? I can't seem to find oh God, I hate questions. Dems are the real racists. I don't know. Oh, do you mean like being the whole idea that the progressives were hardcore racist is BoomerCon revisionism, like the Woodrow Wilson stuff. Like, yeah, he was a white supremacist in that sense, but that wasn't endemic of progressivism. That was endemic of his Southern heritage and where he came from. So like people like Margaret Sanger and all these others, they weren't thinking about black people at all. Favorite Moldbug work? I don't know what you mean. Like, it's just his essays? I haven't read much Moldbug, so I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay, bowfin. This is very glisteny, very small pearls, or whatever they call them, beads. Can we focus? There it is. This looks cheap as hell. This was how much? $8? $8.15. This is what happens when you start with the beluga. What's so bad about Dissident? Because it's so try hard, and I know they're trying. I know they're trying to say we're not the alt-right. It's just a branding thing, and obviously the term alt-right is used very poorly and incorrectly by the corporate press and the cathedral, by design and also by stupidity. But this is just like, oh, it's, you know, it's like I don't think it serves any purpose. JL. Man who claims not to be a fish person eats 16 different kinds of caviar on the internet. You spent $10 for this? I don't understand. I am a fish person. I'm just not like a foodie connoisseur. I can't speak on that. Last question. Name one object from your childhood you still adore. Probably have it handy. I've got a lot, dude. Like a lot. What do I like the most? I mean, if you go to my Instagram, you're going to see a ton. Something I really like. I got my Pepsi belt. that I wore when I was like 5. I found one on eBay that I really like. Trump's whole career in politics is odd. His support base is odd. He's unprecedented. So is an unprecedented election so surprising? That's a very valid question. Thoughts on Nick Fuentes? He's been active lately. I have not been following him, and no disrespect to Nick in that regard at all. I don't listen to podcasts, like literally ever. Even when I'm on them, like it's hard for me to sit through 3 hours of Rogan, even if it's me. Oh, thank you, Eliza. You look lovely. I meant Wilsonian progressivism. The white man's burden is not really the same thing as progressivism. And a large part of that went away as a result, and I could be way off, so double check me on this, with the closing of frontiers and World War I. I don't think it's the same phenomenon, progressivism in the American sense, and white man's burden, which is more of a justification of imperialism. But please double check me on this one. Okay, this is the what? Which one is this again? Bowfin. This is going to be terrible. Ugh. It's like gooey, as opposed to like Beluga, which had those very firm, discreet, eggs. So this is the bowfin. Terrible. It's very salty. It's salty and metallic. It's like licking a penny. So there's the answer to your question. If you want to know what it's like, get bowfin caviar. Ugh, just awful. Okay, we got 8 left. We're only halfway done. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay, 1 through 8. Seven. Okay, we're doing the snail. This is the very expensive one. Clinton lost House seats in both 92 and 96. Is Trump's loss a function of similar phenomenon, or is widespread election fraud the more plausible explanation? I can very easily see a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but the Democrats are crazy, and I'm going to make sure to vote Republican. Americans historically like splitting tickets, but I don't know. I mean, the point is widespread election fraud to that level that would be necessary to invalidate this election any kind of conspiracy is only as strong as its weakest link. So for it really to be this pervasive, I don't see how something doesn't come out. Especially in many of these states have Republican governors. So but I could be talking on my ass. Caviar goes directly to cum gutters. They're gone. I'm kind of on a bulk now. Okay, we're doing the snail. Okay, so let's read about this. So this is going to be quite expensive. So snail caviar, snails only lay 50 to 100 eggs a year. Caviar is produced by land snails. The flavor is earthy and woody rather than fishy. Notes of carrot, herb, mushrooms, and forest floor make this caviar stand out. An excellent no-kill option to traditional fish caviars. And you have to eat it within a week after opening. And I think they have to go through them one by one. All right. So, how much was this? I'm sorry. Good point. This was $50. I thought it was more, but there was like $20 to get it shipped. So here it is. The thing that I've said repeatedly about this voter fraud, there's not institutional will among Republicans, the Republican Party, to do anything about it. That's what is the real. It's like it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. So if the Republicans are more than happy to play ball with Joe Biden, like there's nothing that can be done. Fuck, marry, kill Adamant, John Waters, Wendy O. Williams. Well, marry Wendy O. Williams, and I'd fuck. God, Adamant, I guess. Genuinely smiling your negative reactions while believing that you are not a foodie. A foodie is someone who is like a midwit, right? In terms of food, like they identify as like, oh, blah, blah, when they actually have a very marginal understanding, a very dilettante understanding of food and food culture. They think they read, the New Yorker, and all of a sudden they know what this hip new restaurant. I'm someone who likes interesting foods and those experiences, but I'm not in a position to run my mouth about them. That's where I stand. Did you cut bulk on 6-month cycles lifting program? No, Janae Marie Kroc is kind of mentoring me. I was really lean, and then this COVID thing happened, and it's going somewhere. You'll see. Nick Fuentes is based in Red Pill. Check him out. I know who he is. Okay. How do I open this? I don't know how to open this. Thanks for being you, King. You are welcome. I'm going to be spilling snail caviar everywhere. The fuck do I do? All right. Please have some of my island pesos. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. What disgusting country are you from? I don't get how the left aren't the real racists. I can't help you. I can't help you with this BoomerCon stuff. I really can't. I'm sorry. I once got a $100 tip for serving caviar at a conservation society's dinner. Have you ever had anything obnoxiously high class at a social dinner? I don't know about obnoxiously high class. I can't say I did, to be honest. Like when I was on book tour with Matt Hughes, they gave us the corporate card and we went to like fancy restaurants all the time. Coin to the side. I don't know what that means, chef. Coin to this. Oh, take a coin. Got it. Thank you. Well, why don't I use this, the heel of this spoon? Let's try that. No, it's bending the spoon. Fuck. This is going to be another 20 minutes. I can't figure this out. Oh, something's happening. I got it. Who's texting me? I'm at work. Run the caviar tin under hot water. Shut up, Marshall. I got it open. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. You guys, this is like a once in a lifetime thing because it's going to taste terrible. Please hit the like. Take a second, hit the like button. Look at this. That is cool. It's going to taste horrible. Okay. I'm really dreading this one because I'm not like an umami, earthy flavors guy. Those are big eggs. They said they're salmon roe size. They're not at all. Oh, man, this is interesting. Okay. I'm scared of this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. Okay. Oh, it's like eating grass. Tastes just like grass. Mild grassy flavor. I'll have some more. It doesn't pop. Nothing fishy about it. Nothing gross about it. Nothing slimy about it. It's just fun. I can see how this would be a good accent to a dish. It adds this note, but it's subtle, not grassy and gross. It's pretty subtle too, surprisingly. Yeah, it's like eating grass. Or like the bitterness of like maybe the lettuce core a little bit. Let's do these super chats. You genuinely add value to people's lives. That is kind of like the biggest compliment you could give someone, right? Like, don't you want to be of value to your friends' lives and have friends who make you a better person? I have a lot of friends like that, and I do not take it for granted at all. At all, at all, at all. And now I can't close it. Now I can't close it. Boom. Functional strength. Okay, some more shithole money. Were the Gnostics the first anarchists? I don't think so. I wouldn't say that. I don't think they were anarchists per se. Depends. They definitely. I mean, I don't know if you could be a theist and an anarchist, right? In a very strict sense, they believed in an authority. Nick Fuentes is a genuine white supremacist, very much inspired by George Lincoln Rockwell, excuse me. P.S. Clinton kept the House in 96 and Perot split the vote in 92. Okay. Mike Semino. It is you that is bending, not the spoon. Favorite palm from the Book of Palms. Left. Who's your favorite Zen master? I'm not into that scene. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer, Bayo. Knock, knock. Have you been in touch with Matt Hughes since his book was published? Yeah, it came out 10 years ago. Can I borrow $2? No, thank you. Fish. Fish who? What if this modern day socialism is just a result of having women in government trying to take care of adults, treating like children? Then there are no matriarchies on Earth, and they never have been. There's a book called Why Men Rule, which goes through this. Even under Thatcher, there was very few women running government. So this is not women in government having much clout at all, at all, at all. Here is some Canadian money to add some color to your day. Thank you. That's very nice. I have a friend called Prashant. Good name. Fisher, there was targeted vote fraud. Open your eyes, you for sure. You're there. Open your eyes, you fool. Well, they are open. I don't like a Millhouse. Okay, we got 7 more. Let's do it. Fun little hang. Number 4. Trout row. I had this recently, but I got it again. I thought you were an atheist, but still anarchist. Yeah. I'm just saying that I don't think the Gnostics were anarchists because they believed in an authority. I'm not sure. I think we might be talking past each other. Trout row. So this is supposed to be like a replacement for salmon. It's slightly smaller. I've had it recently. Oh, this is different from the one I had. So this is like they shrunk down salmon roe, red caviar. This looks very cool. Almost looks like Jelly Belly or something. So let's try this. Oh, let's see how much this cost. So this was, I got to tell you, the Beluga was clearly the best. Absolutely clearly the best. Pink trout roe caviar. A pleasure for your eyes and your mouth. This does really have a good visual appeal. I could see it on a plate looking cool. Another inexpensive delicacy from Europe, harvested from pink trout farmed in the freshwater lakes of France. The bold color fills your mouth. The beads have a sticky consistency. Has a distinct orange eye on the translucent eggshell. You do have an orange eye here. You can see the eyes if we zoom in right. Maybe you can't. I can. Let's see. Can we get this? You could see it on some of them. They are easily there. Everything's coming up Malice. NRA forever. NRA, come on. Never change. I promise. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. I think this is a fun, wholesome activity. It's also a fun way to, if you want to do this with your friends, get like a bunch and sit down and from the descriptions, rank which ones you're going to like, try them all, and then see you got the most right. I really enjoy I really enjoy these streams you do. Looking forward to your next book. It's going to be a good one. What do women know about raising men anyway? There's a reason the Spartans ripped their sons away from their mothers at age 8. Is there? I didn't. Okay. Okay, we got the trout roe. This looks. It's like the salmon roe but smaller. So it's kind of like, you know, when you have little versions of food that you like little burgers or something like that, like sliders. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. This has that. Tastes like salmon roe. The skin of the beads is much firmer, so it doesn't pop as easily. It also does have the metallic taste. Maybe it's the preservatives they're using, I guess. I don't know. Salmon roe is better. This is also very milder. Salmon roe is a strong taste. This is the flavor is pretty weak on this for the trout roe. Oh, that beluga, man. I'm going to eat that beluga. I'm going to put it inside of me. Simpsons reference, NRA forever on Matt Groening's desk. It wasn't on his desk. It was when they scanned Maggie at the supermarket. We got 6 left. Okay, lobster roe. We're doing this. So I had always thought lobster roe was inedible. So this is $23, but you get half a pound. So they're dried out on the top. You can. My desk is going to smell like lobster eggs now. All right, let's wipe this shit down. Oh, my God. What have I done? What have I done? It's a calamity. No, when they interview him with the eye patch. I know, but they say the setup was, what's the freeze frame on when they scan Maggie, and it goes, NRA forever. It goes, just one of the many radical right-wing messages encoded in The Simpsons. It's maybe I'm conflating two things. That's how I remember it. I could be absolutely wrong on this one. Oh God, lobster roe. The lobster eggs are everywhere. It's like they're spawning. Okay, this is a mess. It's a fucking disaster. Oh, that's on the floor. Fuck it, I don't care. Okay. How do I even show this to you? Okay, I'll take a spoonful. Are they all dry? Yeah, this is like powdery almost. Yeah, they're all dry. If you can, I'll do it over this. You can see that, what it looks like. It's much drier than it looks in the picture in the camera. This is not going to taste good in my opinion. Let's see what the description says. Lobster roe, also called lobster coral. Once cooked, these eggs get a vibrant red color that makes an excellent garnishing. A delicacy that can be served as a tasty topping. Can I eat this? It doesn't. Can I eat it? I better be able to eat it. All right, let's find out. Ugh, this is not. All right, let's do this. Terrible. Terrible. The texture is gross. Very, 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 very fishy. And not very fishy, but just like It tastes like, you know, like if you had cheap fish at the store, or like at a restaurant, it's like this. It's just like when people say fishy, like that bad flavor, like fish that's gone bad. That's what this tastes like. This is not good. Doesn't taste like lobster. This is terrible. Do not get this. Absolutely terrible. Ugh, when they give you so much of it, it's going in the trash where you belong. Absolutely dreadful. Okay, we got 5 left, and then we'll be done with this nightmare. Ooh. Dry eggs, caviar. What is this? HuffPo writer. Ooh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I didn't know I needed this in my life. Thanks. I love being able to do random stuff like this and share it with people. I enjoy it, and I think that kind of stuff is infectious. And I really despise this very urban media idea that everything has to be taken seriously. And it's just like, relax. We're just having fun and doing dopey stuff, and no one's getting hurt, and everyone's enjoying themselves. And it's all funded by spite. Ever try Swedish caviar like Kale's caviar? I have not. I'm not familiar. I've tried the stuff in the tube, which is like that, like pureed caviar, which I enjoyed. Did you get Petrushkin caviar? No, I got the different kinds, so the cheap versions, because I did. This still ended up being $500. How am I eating this? It's terrible. Ugh. Hint on your next podcast guest. Nope. I don't know who it is. She hasn't gotten back to me. Okay. There's 5 left. 4. Sterlet. Okay, this is one of the classic types of sturgeon. Oh, this dries out fast. There was like 2 beads and it was like already rubbery. This is $28 for this little tin. It is from Sturgeon Aqua Farms, an American aquaculture factory in Florida. Smallest species, smaller eggs. Compares to Savruga. Let's try it. Like, I want to eat the snail eggs now because they just $50, but it's just like eating grass. Ooh, this is pretty. This is pretty. Can we see that? That's pretty. All right. And then we have 4 more. So again, this is the Sterlet. Okay, 1,100 people watching this garbage. All right, let's do this. They're not that small like the other ones were. This is just salty, not like overwhelmingly salty. Like if you had to name one flavor, it would be salt. In the same way, like nori, like seaweed, like it's saltiness to it. Very not much of a flavor profile. It's nice. Nothing special. Just very neither here nor there, I would say. Okay, we're down to 4 more. All right. Funding directly toward entertainment we want instead of entertainment forced on us. Thanks, Mike. I will be passing this on to Mike. Why did I have the bowl, Bart? Why did I have the bowl? I'll actually tell you the next podcast guest. I'm getting Adrian Curry on. We've been chatting on DM. We just haven't been able to schedule it. Okay, 4 more. Okay, this one is Ossetra, Russian Ossetra. You know what? We're going to look at these. There's golden whitefish. Okay, we're doing this. This is Ossetra. This is the amber one. This is $37. Is one of the best caviar sorts in nature and human can produce together. This is made in Israel. Oh, so it's going to be the best. Israel first. So rich flavor of roasted nuts. The fish ponds are constantly aerated, and thus the fish produce the best caviar. Okay, so this is from the Holy Land. I am surprised to what extent the price correlates with flavor. I thought it was gonna be like wine. Like it really is significantly better tasting as it gets more expensive. Oh, this is this is really cool. This, come on, dude. I hate this. There it is. There's the money shot. That is nice. Here's a fiber towards getting some Chipperson fish eggs, you POG. Person, I don't know. Okay. The matzah was a good idea because you're supposed to do it on toast and it doesn't have much of a flavor, so it doesn't take away from it. Have Nick Fuentes on and wear an Israel first shirt. Maybe that's just... Which U.S. politician office do you dislike the most? It might be de Blasio. It might be de Blasio or Cuomo. Or Kamala now is funny. So I think de Blasio. All right. This is, again, the amber, Malice amber, the Russian Osietra. This is the one I had as a kid. This is the one. Or close to it. This reminds me of the kid one. This is very nice. How much was this? $37. This is the one where I would say of all the ones I've tried so far is the perfect mix between price and experience. It's not so expensive that you feel like an ass, especially if it's like a once in a lifetime thing, but you'll also get the idea of why people like caviar so much. And no one is going to eat this and be like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Neither regards to taste nor texture or anything like else. So the one so far you'd get is the Russian Osietra. This is good. Okay, there was 3 left. This and the Beluga I'm putting aside because they're the best. Autist Swim makes base meme pins. I believe it. POG, piece of garbage. It's, okay. What were you going to say? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Ilhan Omar and Matt Gaetz. In terms of, I don't hate Ilhan Omar anywhere near as much as some of these other people. Matt Gaetz, I think he's funny sometimes. Do you speak any language other than English? Yes, I speak Russian. I forgot Hebrew, and my French would be very, very rusty. Do you plan to meet friends and family for Christmas and New Year's, or no parties per government diktat? I never celebrate New Year's. I find it, or I depressing and annoying. At Christmas, I'm obviously Jewish. I might be doing something at Christmas this year. Okay, so we got 3 left. Hope you guys are having fun. Okay, let's try this. Number 2, white sturgeon. Interesting. I thought the sturgeon was white. So this is $45. American white sturgeon, farmed in California. Natural diet. Okay, so that means the taste might be a little more nuanced. Okay, and then there's two more. Thank you guys for making this possible. I thank you all the Cretans for giving me a reason to raise spike funds. Oh, this is very pretty. This might be the prettiest one because the color's so nuanced and such gradation. So this is the white sturgeon. You can see how that's kind of really has a good eye appeal. In your opinion, what percentage of politicians passing COVID restrictions are genuinely well-intentioned? I wouldn't say they're well-intentioned. I think they're responding to incentives. And there's a huge asymmetry between and Cuomo said this in a press conference, if I have to choose, and he's not wrong in this very limited context, if I have to choose between 100 businesses going under and 100 people dying, you have to preserve the lives, right? But that's so basically how it would look is if they opened up and the businesses were all saved and 100 people died, as opposed to if they shut down and 100 people died, they'd be blamed for the deaths under the opening up situation. So there's a huge, Greg pointed this out, thanks Greg, a huge asymmetry in how they're being encouraged to respond. Do you think it's common for modern intelligent Marxists to just be misguided, or do they mostly know the consequences of their ideology and like them? Caught feelings for a Marxist and am concerned. You actually might do better with a Marxist than with some other people because Marxists in many ways tend to be very red-pilled about the political process. So they're all over the map. You're going to have ones who are like nightmare of nightmares, the tankies, or you have people who you could actually have a conversation with. Ayn Rand said she has more respect for a Marxist, or has respect, because at least they have a coherent ideology or philosophy. Thoughts on the Thatcher interpretation for The Crown season 4? I did not. They didn't write her correctly. If you look at her facial expressions, Thatcher was always smiling, or at least had serious, which she wasn't making this grimace. So I found it annoying. But I thought it was going to be much worse. And the fact that they ended her with getting the medal, which is telling the audience at the end of the day, sorry to use that expression, the Queen really approved of her. That was interesting. And they also could have made her much more racist about South Africa, and they presented her perspective somewhat fairly, which I thought was a huge surprise. Caught Heshi Tischler on Tim Pool last night. Thoughts on whether de Blasio is purposely targeting Jewish neighborhoods or if it's coincidental. I don't know. It's because I wouldn't say it's because they're Jewish per se. I just think that, yeah, it's more like he's identified as us versus them. So if you sat him down 4 years ago and said, which neighborhood would you want to target? Like, who do you hate? I don't think he would have said Jewish neighborhoods. But I think now he's like, all right, you want to roll? Let's roll. And it's become a thing for him and for them. Why the hell do these godless normies keep wishing me happy holidays on the subway? It's Christmas. It isn't Christmas. Thoughts on project? Continued. Okay. Shalom. Do you think the Democratic flex to support small businesses, them trying to appeal to the blue collars they lost, or is it showboating? I think it's them trying to tell blue-pilled people that they did care about small businesses this whole time. Look how much we talk about it. Just flap. It's like, I love you, baby. Why you make me hate you? Thoughts on Project Veritas? I don't know that much about them, but I do love how much they upset the right people. Thoughts on X-Files? That shit really outlasted its welcome. Very quick. And I hate how the mythology didn't come together. Okay, we got the white sturgeon. Let's do this. From America. This is from US&A. Ooh. This has too much salt to it. This has too much salt, which totally overwhelms the mild, very good flavor. If they just knock down the salt, this would be like one of the better ones in terms of affordable, but it's nuanced and delicious. But it's good as a rule. But I like salty. I don't think most people are able to handle this on their palate. Forgot to add the question, which yeshiva did you go to? Yeshiva of Flatbush. YouTube wouldn't allow Project Ver. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay, we got the golden whitefish and we got the Sevruga. I'm going to wait for the Sevruga last. The golden whitefish is $9.40. Salmon family member. It lives in the Great Lakes. The flavor is mildly tangy with a bit of sweetness. Is Candace Owens legit or a grifter? I mean, I think that's a false dichotomy, right? Like, I wouldn't say she's either. Bonus spite from for the holidays. Condition, please waste on your nephew. Well, it's not. I am going to see him this weekend. I'm very, very excited. Very excited. Does Putin consume alcohol, or is the teetotaler thing just for show? I have absolutely no insight on this. I'm so sorry. Okay, golden whitefish. Oh, this is really cool. They're very small. They kind of run together. Thank you, Butts. So here's the golden whitefish. It's pretty cool looking. All right. I will tell you, a Russian who won't drink at all, it seems like it would be an issue in politics. But I'm completely talking from an uninformed place. It's not going to work. Even blue-pilled normies I know are not buying the line. My boomer mom generally doesn't understand why concessions weren't made for small businesses. She's halfway there. She's not that... Instead of thinking they're doing this on purpose or they don't care, she's like, well, I don't understand. There must be some explanation I'm not getting. Do you see the difference, Shauna? And I think that's the issue here. Are you at all concerned when it comes time to remove the tape? Nope. Jelaine Maxwell in Suicide Watch checked on every 15 minutes. Will they Epstein her too? I think she came to them. There's no way she should have been on American soil. I think she got arrested on purpose. Favorite dog breed? It's going to be, I'm sorry to dodge the question in a sense, either pugs or German shepherds, and also the Valhund. You probably haven't heard of it. It's the Viking corgi. No taste at all. No taste. Absolutely no taste. Okay, and the last one is the Sevruga. And this one is $59.39. Did the prices change? Let me look up how much do the prices change? Let me look how much I paid for it. Because if they have dynamic pricing, that'd be pretty funny. I paid Sevruga $50.48, and now it's $59.39. They have dynamic pricing on the site. Isn't that interesting? Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. So let me read about this. American Aquaculture Company, because it's relatively small size, Sevruga is sometimes preferred for its stronger caviar taste. So this I'm really excited about. Let me show it to you. I'm sorry, guys. God damn it. Is it doing? Yep, I'm 53 years old. This is what I'm doing with my life. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm not going to lie. Oh. Oh, man. This is the second best one. It's a little too salty for American palates, or if you're not a caviar person. So that's going to be an issue for many people. The flavor is complex. The only, like the Beluga was the other one that had a complex flavor. This is really, really nice. So I'm adding it with the, which ones did I like? The Beluga. Where'd they put the two good ones? The Beluga and, yeah, this one is Sietra. Oh, man, this is nice. I'm going to have some more. And then I'll answer some questions, then I'm going to bounce. And we can worry about Mr. Spendy another time. Long story short, I think he gets a bank account. Oh, that's just nice. This is nice. All right. Problem solved. Okay. Have you considered having Philip Tetlock on? I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. Are you going to follow up the new right with the history of the current left? No. I'm going to do a book called The White Pill, which is about why the good guys will win. If you want obscure dog breed, look at Beaucerons. Oh, yeah. Are they the ones with like the very... They've got like those wrinkly faces, if I'm not mistaken. They're orange, aren't they? No, I'm thinking something else. Oh, these look like a cross between a Doberman and a German Shepherd. Very beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful. When those dogs are alert and they're looking at you and you can see there's a mind there. I just absolutely love that. How many grams of mushrooms have you eaten? All of them. I will say the Ukrainians I work with give me a lot of hope for this country. They're so inoculated into this government. Ukrainians are low-key like a lot of people of the neck that is red. Yes, 100%. I agree with that completely. Thanks for the great time, Malice. Loved it. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You probably answered this before, but how'd you get so into animal zoology? I was just obsessed with it as a kid. I started talking. I said, Papa, and then I never talked again. They took me to an aquarium, and I started talking that day. What part of childhood does caviar remind you of besides eating caviar as a child? It really is just eating it in school. And also it's interesting that there was a food that gave me pleasure, because most food I had an antagonistic relationship with it. Country you'd hate to be a citizen of. There's a lot, like a lot. I think Germany is a big one. And not because of like I was there. They're just so humorless. Germany's a big one. China. I'll stick with those two. You win Bitcoin? Of course. Super. Thank you, Ashley. You don't look like a child, but I believe you. Okay, I am going to. Oh, this was so. I had so much fun. I hope you guys had fun. This really takes me back. I'm gonna have to do another hang soon with somebody else. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Next week, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. I can't give you more information about that. But if you go to malice.locals.com, you'll be able to keep up with all my chicanery, mischicks, and mischiefs, and malfeasance. So, yeah. And now you know about the caviars and which to get. So it was some useful information. I will talk to you soon. And I'm going to go do some reading. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. Be kind to yourselves.